Hi, welcome to my channel. That Gets Creative. I'm Danette. Here I am back with the little lamb, little sheep. And last video, I laid down the back. I showed you how to do the needle turn. That's all done. So now what I'm doing is I'm working on adding texture and some embroidery to the existing flowers. So you can see that I've added some pink, some blue, some green, and I just need to add a little French knot or two of the yellow. So I'm going to show you on the sleeve here how I did that. So I just literally followed what was there. So I put it in the hoop, and I'm just going to roughly follow the lines that are there. I'm not going to put it on everything because I think that would be too much, but I just want to put a bit of color into place, and I want to put that texture because you can feel it. I think you can notice the difference between the two. So I'm just trying to add a little bit of interest. This is a great project to work on while I'm watching TV, because I'm not really following any rules here. I'm just following lines that already exist and adding some color here and there. I'm just using 2-stranded embroidery floss because I don't want it to be too thick. And you can see that I'm just following random lines and adding some color here and there. No real pattern to what I'm doing. Just wherever my eye takes me, I guess. And you can see that I'm not doing all the lines. Just enough to punch the color up a little bit. So when I did the other sleeve, and when I did this part, I did all the green first, and then I went in and did all the pink. Went back in and did the blue, and now you can see that I just have some yellow specks left to do. Certainly not a fast step. It does require some time. But what are you going to do when you're sitting in front of the TV or sitting out on the deck enjoying the nice weather? Take this with you and put a few stitches in. I think what I'll do on the dress is I won't follow all the pattern, but what I think I'll do is I'll stitch kind of like running stitch all one way, and then I'll do running stitch the other way. And I think I'll do one with a darker green one way, and then one with a lighter green the other way. And I hope you can see, but there's sheep at the bottom here. I hope to do those sheep, these sheep, with French knots, some white and some French knots. And then we'll see from there if there's anything else that I think could have a little bit of a stitch to it. Still trying to sort out the back on what I should do on the back, because the back is just completely plain and nothing there. So once I figure what that's going to look like, I'll come back on and show you what I decide. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. I guess it's important just to get one side done first, right? So yeah, I'm just going to keep going with the green and just make all these little green lines. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to hit pause on the green just so you can see what I did for the other steps. So let me just put one more little. When I got to these bigger leaves, I actually would do the like that lazy daisy stitch, or what, I'm not sure what it's called. That's what I do to make lazy daisies. Just to make those leaves a little thicker instead of just all the thin lines. So you can see that I make the leaf thicker instead of just the line. So then these thicker ones, I will do that little lazy daisy stitch for those. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pop this green back up on top. Hold on one second, lost my needle. There we go. Pop this green back up on top for now. Just stick it over there. And I have my pink threaded, so I'm just gonna go into one of these pink flowers and make sure I'm not poking through any other material. There we go. And I just made little tiny stars, little tiny dashes to make a flower look. So you can see, I just keep going back. I'm not really following any sort of pattern. I'm just trying to stay within the pink blob that's there. But it's just a way of highlighting it and bringing it more to the surface to make it look like a flower and just to give that texture. Some of the smaller ones, I just did little French knots. For ones like this, so you can see I just made that into a little flower. For this one over here, I'll just do like a French knot. And for this one here, because it's a sideways one, I'll just make 3 or 4 lines coming out of it. So let me show you. I'll turn this one into a French knot. 1, 2, 3. French knot. I could almost put 2 French knots there. Let's do that because there's another little spot right here. So let's just do 2 French knots there. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then for this one down here, I'm just going to make my lines come out of the green. So 1, go back up there, 2. I think I'll put 3 to see what it looks like. And if it's not enough, I'll put a 4th one in. 3. Yeah. And 1 in the middle there to make 4. So that's how I do the 3 different ones. So let me pop back up here with this pink. I'll just pop up over here so I'm out of the way. And I'll just leave that over here. So you can see I did French knots. I just did like a star, or I did it just coming out sideways. And then with the blue, I only did French knots. So I have a blue threaded too. Oops. Should put a knot in the bottom, hey? And then the yellow, which I don't have threaded right now. 1, 2, 3. I will do those French knots as well because they are just little tiny dots of color. I try to do the blue 2 together as well. In some cases there was a bigger blob of blue, I might do 3, or in some cases where there's a smaller blob of blue, I just do 1. But for the most part, I am doing 2 together. So there we have it. Pink flowers, how I do it in French knots, or the little stars, or just off to the side. The green, I'm just hitting green spots, or I'm doing lazy daisy stitch to make a bigger leaf. And then for the blue, I'm just doing French knots, and I'll do the yellow the same way. So you can see here, outside of the yellow, everything's finished on this sleeve. And it just adds texture and interest. So I think you can see the difference between the two. So I'm going to continue on with the dress. Then, like I said, I'm going to do some running stitch, and then probably some running stitch this way. Maybe I'll just do it up here. Haven't quite figured that out, but I am going to put some running stitch into the green just to give it some more texture. So I hope you're enjoying this. Hope maybe that's getting you to have some inspiration on something that you can do. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate the views and I appreciate the comments. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.